Everyone learns y equals mx plus c. Okay, but they learn it as a formula just to plug numbers into. Okay, but the higher up you go in maths, the less it's about remembering, and it's the more about the understanding that's really important. And if you're only ever memorizing, that gap catches up with you fast. Okay, so don't get left behind. So let's really understand this formula of y equals mx plus c. So if you were to tell a blind person, okay, so this is you, this is the graph you've been given, okay, and you were told a blind person to draw this graph. What information do they need? Okay, well, you're guiding their pen, and you've got to tell them one point. Okay, so you pick a point on your straight line. Okay, so you tell them start with your pen here, right? And then you say at this angle, what kind of guide, what direction it needs to be. It needs to be a straight line. Okay, and we use a fancy term now, a constant gradient, but that just means this line is flat. Okay, this line is straight, this line is going in the same direction forever. Okay, it's keeping on going in the same direction. And those are the two bits of information you need. Okay, and those two bits of information translates to m, which is the gradient, which we've touched on, and c. Okay, this c, people say it's the y-intercept, and they don't understand why it is the y-intercept. Okay, what c represents, okay, let's see it in a formula, y equals mx plus c. Okay, why is it the y-intercept? Well, when x equals 0, what does our formula change into? Well, we have m times 0, which is just 0. Anything times 0 is 0. So then this makes y equals c. Okay, y now equals c when x is 0. Okay, let's draw on our graph. What is x is 0? X is 0 is the whole of our y-axis. Okay, this is x equals 0. So c, so you're plotting this point, okay, x is 0 and y is c. So we get 0, c. Okay, that's why it's the y-intercept. Okay, because it's the value of y when x is 0, when it crosses our y-axis. Okay, perfect. Alright, so those are two bits of information you need to draw a straight line. Okay, you need to know where it starts, okay, or not even starts, a point on the line. Okay, because if you know a point, that gets you to all these lines. Okay, if you know one point on the line, you've reduced it from being any single straight line possible to, well, still quite a few, but all of these. Okay, now you say it crosses this point and it has this gradient. Okay, and with that combination, there can only be one straight line that fills both. There's only ever one straight line that crosses a point and has the certain gradient. Okay, and that's what our formula beautifully, okay, because it is beautiful, represents. Okay, you give me a certain gradient, you give me a certain point, and I can then tell you every single value of x that makes every single value of y, so every single point that must then be on this line, I can tell you it just from this formula. Okay, because these straight lines are going on forever. Okay, these straight lines going on forever, 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 forever. Okay, and what you do if when you have something like y equals 5x plus 3, okay, you say, oh, I'm at x equals 10. What's my value of y? Okay, well, I can tell you what your value of y is. You sub in x is 10, okay, and you get that y is 50 plus 3, y is 53. So I can tell you that this point is the point on our line. Okay, but all the information I needed was that it crosses the y-axis here, and I know the gradient. Okay, and the formula's doing the hard work of counting along by 1, up by 5, 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 10 times, and saying, where is your y now going to be? This formula, okay, is making that process quicker. What we're doing with algebra is we're making all the maths quicker. Okay, we're using x that can be any number, not certain number anymore. Okay, x can be every single number. Alright, why this algebra represents every single number. Okay, and it's speeding up the maths we're doing so we can look at more interesting. Okay, interesting might vary person to person. Okay, but we can look at definitely more complicated situations. Okay, so I hope that made sense.